so much fun. This is the 2019 BMW Z4 Roadster. And for today's video, we have the 30i, which is sort of like the lower end of the model Z4, and then you have the BMW Z40i as well. Let's begin with the exterior. Let's talk about some of the cool features on the exterior, and then we'll get into the interior and show you around what it's all about. First, let's start with the price tag. Let's talk about how much this thing costs. In Canada, this starts at $62,000, and this is the lower end of the Z4. Of course, this vehicle has similar engine to the BMW 330i, the new series 330i. What we have in here is basically a 4-cylinder turbocharged 2-liter engine, making about 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. But don't let that fool you, because this car weighs only 3,200 pounds. And being a rear-wheel drive car, it's a ton of fun. It's equipped with 19-inch wheels and, of course, Michelin Super Sport, which are amazing on track. I've used the Michelin Cup 2, which I have on my Focus RS, and they're absolutely amazing. But even this ones, once they get really warm, you're good to go and have some serious fun with it. First off, onto the front end. Absolutely aggressive looking, specifically the lower end part where the bumper is located. The aggressive flares around it make it look very sporty. The other thing is that the grille at the front where the BMW logo is, that massive grille that we all are talking about nowadays because they've used them in X7s and X5s, although this is not as big as that, still bigger than the previous model, and it's different design compared to other models. First off, let's look into the grille itself. As you can see in here, it has this little aluminum sides onto here, and of course the vents are functioning, and then I can see on both sides and the chrome around it, typical of the BMW grille. Onto the right side part here is just for optics, is not functional, so but what we have onto the side here is your parking sensors, you can see. But the overall design at the front, it's beautifully done, and of course very aggressive looking. The actual hood itself, as you can see, you have this massive onto the actual hood to give it a more aggressive look at the top as well. The headlights, massive headlights as well. They stretch pretty far all the way to the back, as you can see. These are of course LED headlights. We don't have any fog lights in here. What you basically have is your turning signal in there, and you have one big projector at the front, and of course your daylight running lights. As you can see, of course, the BMW signature located in here. So let's pop the hood. First of all, remember the old Z3, they were completely different. Basically had to open the actual hood under this side, similar to the American Dodge Viper basically. And on this one, it's actually the newer model, so you basically just pop the hood underneath here. You don't even have anything in here, a hatch actually to pull for you to open it, so once you press it twice there, you just can pop it easily. First off, we have those brackets onto the left side and the right side. As I mentioned previously, look at the space between the front bumper and the actual engine. Just look at that. You can actually put stuff in there. You can see the engine cover underneath there. There's a lot of space. And again, the idea here is that they will use the same chassis for the 40i as well, which is basically a bigger engine. You have a 6-cylinder. This is a 4-cylinder twin power turbocharged, 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. BMW says 0 to 100 about 5.4 seconds, which is pretty good. Of course, the vehicle weighs about 3,200 pounds, and it is equipped with an 8-speed automatic transmission. No manual transmission offered, but you can still have fun with a beautiful ZF. Anyhow, let's close this, and that's it. Close that, and let me walk you through onto the rear side here. I want to show you the actual top. First off, as I said, this is a soft top, it's not the hard. BMW says that this will close in about 10 seconds, which is pretty fast if you think about it. You do have a button located inside. You have to hold it, I'll show you that in a minute, till it actually folds completely, and then you can release, and in the cluster it will tell you exactly when it's completely locked. Okay, before we get inside, let's talk about the actual key fob. The key fob, it's exactly the same as the one of the 3 Series. The only difference here is that you don't have the remote start. You have the unlock and lock button, of course, for the trunk at the back as well, as you can see. Let's open it up. Now, here's the trunk. The trunk itself, it's very small. It's 10 cubic feet. So you can fit probably 1 or 2 bags, maximum 2 small bags, one on the left and one on the right. Think about this way, Elantra GT line, which is a small hatchback, it's about 24 cubic feet. This one, it's 10 cubic feet. So imagine that, that's pretty small. But the idea here is that this is not your daily unless you don't carry much stuff with you, and this will be fine. But it's good enough to put stuff in there. If you're going shopping and stuff, you got enough space. For me, it wouldn't be good enough because for me, it wouldn't be big enough since I have my equipment with me. Okay, let's get inside. Keyless entry. As you can see in here, leather interior. The crazy part about this is that being a coupe, the crazy part about this is being a roadster. For me that I'm 6'2", there's so much space. They've thought this through very well. They've actually designed the car perfectly for tall people as well. You got so much space to move the seat all the way to the back, and you can stretch your legs. I find it to be incredibly comfortable for a person like me being a roadster. Now, onto the side of the door, beautiful leather door panel, and of course you have your memory setting onto the door handle over there, and you have your lock and unlock button, and then over here you have all the switches for the window and of course for the mirror. As you can see in here inside, it's very similar to the BMW 3 Series, the newer model. Shares exactly the same cluster and the same exact infotainment system, and of course the steering wheel as well, it's exactly the same. Now onto the side you have the M badge located here on the door side, and of course the seats are powered, and you can extend this part here for your legs to rest. And then as you can see, the switches are located onto the side here. You can adjust the bolsters as well to have them tight or have some space for you to get in if you're kind of like a larger person as far as the shoulder. So let's get in. So as you can see, let me show you, there's a ton of leg room for me, and on top of that I can still go back. Like, there's more. Look at that. The only thing is that if you try to move the seat backwards, the recliner actually folds at the same time because you don't have space at the top. You still have space, of course, for your legs over here, but what it does is that the recliner itself kind of like folds at the front, so then make sure you have space for the actual seat to move backwards. So as you can see right now, but if you move forward, it will not fold back. You have to do it automatic, which is fine, but most important is that you get a ton of space in here. Ton of space. I absolutely love it. And it goes pretty low as well. Right now I feel very low, almost to the ground. I feel like I'm actually going to touch the ground with my ass. But as you can see, very comfortable in here. I feel just perfectly fine. Anyhow, so this is the steering wheel. The steering wheel, it's exactly the same as the one they use in the BMW 3 Series. You have your pedal shifters located onto the steering wheel, which is awesome. This is actually a manual adjusted steering wheel. You don't have the power version of it where you can actually do it automatically. What you do have as well is your screen onto the center for your info system, and then of course the cluster is digital, similar to the 3 Series. The overall design, it's exactly the same as the 3 Series. Same size infotainment system, same over here, the same gear knob as well, and you have all the modes in here for your sport, your comfort, eco, and auto and hold button. So it's pretty much the same in here, and you have a heads-up display with this version as well. You don't get any cooling seats, you get only heated seats, and of course the climate control. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. It feels so quick, so nimble inside. The steering is just direct. It's a ton of fun. You're gonna have fun with the top down, but it's so windy that I won't be able to talk, so I have to have it up. this thing, so quick. Right now we're driving in Sport Plus, which is technically faster. Throttle reaction is fast. The steering wheel, it's a bit more direct. The suspension system, it's a bit stiffer as well. And the car is just sticking to the ground with this beautiful Mission Super Sport. Just absolutely amazing. It's so much fun. The exhaust sound on this thing is just perfect. It's not too loud, but you can still hear it. Now, don't underestimate this car just because it is the 30i. So it doesn't mean necessarily that it's actually a bad car or it's not as fast. It weighs only 3,200 pounds and you don't necessarily need a ton of power to have fun on this thing. It's very small, beautiful aerodynamic style as well. It just does great on everything. And it's quick. Right now I have it on manual mode, sport version, and it's just like it goes so fast. There's barely any gap when you're shifting. The vehicle uses a ZF transmission, of course. Into corners, it sticks to the ground. Fantastic. Brakes are perfect. Although I would have liked a big piston in the front, would have helped. But they do amazing. Most important though are the tires. Those are the ones that make a difference as well to keep the car on the road. Fantastic. Fantastic. Just fantastic. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Just so much fun on this car. Again, the idea here is that it's not always about power. I've driven cars all the way to 1400 wheel horsepower, and the idea is that power becomes useless if you're not able to put it down. So in the case with this vehicle, it's able to put it down because it doesn't have a lot of power. So whatever it has is capable to actually put it down, and you can have fun with this. You cannot put the top down while you're driving at a higher speed. So right now I'm at 60 kilometers, which is the limit in this area, and it says you can't put the top down. But if you are around, let's say 10 kilometers an hour, you can put the top down. But right now we're too fast, so it doesn't allow you to put the top down as you're driving. Let me find a spot here. We're gonna slow down and we can put the top down. Okay, here we go. There we go. Do like 5-6 kilometers, and I'm gonna stop now fully. And it says retractable top movement complete. So you have to wait till that thing says it's complete, and then you're good to go. If you want to turn it into a civilized vehicle, a proper road vehicle, you can do that. Just put it into eco mode, you're saving fuel, you can still enjoy the ride, you can put the top down, and you're good to go, and have some serious fun with that too. You don't have to necessarily have it on sport mode, like I would, but you know, you can still have it in normal mode and still enjoy it. It's a proper car as well. Of course, it's not the type of car that you want to use day to day. Otherwise, you have to call your in-laws to take care of your kids if you want to take your wife for a drive or have it as a weekend warrior. This doesn't have that space. You only got 2 seats in here, and the trunk is very tiny, so don't expect a lot of space. The idea here is that this is not your day-to-day. This is sort of like your weekend warrior kind of thing, weekend fun. You can take it on those nice twisted road as well, hammer it down, top down, and have fun. What I like the most about this is that if you put it in sport mode and you turn it off and then you come back again and you start it up, it's still on sport mode. I like that. Very few cars actually do that. Like example, my RS, I have to get in, put in sport mode and then start again. This goes straight to sport mode, which I very much appreciate, because some people like to drive their cars on sport mode the entire time, or on eco mode, or even standard mode. It doesn't matter. So you have the option onto the center console in here. You have the buttons for sport, comfort, eco, pro, of course. Similar to the 3 Series, the infotainment system is very similar. You got the touchscreen infotainment system in here. You have your navigation built in. You have Android Auto, and of course Apple CarPlay as well. The actual cluster, it's not analog, it is digital. You have the speedometer on the left side of it, and onto the right is your tachometer. Every time you change modes, it changes color. So right now in sport, it's all red, and then comfort, it's less of red color, and then into actual blue, you're looking at eco. So into sport mode, which is my favorite mode right now. The vehicle is equipped with paddle shifters. You got an 8-speed automatic transmission that you can use, and at the same time have it in manual mode. So if you actually shift onto the left right now and then press the pedal, and right now you have it in manual mode. So you can have some fun. I love this thing. I just love this thing. Don't underestimate the car, because yes, it's very low on power compared to the 40i, but you can still have fun with this. It weighs only 3,200 pounds. You got amazing tires, amazing rims, 19-inch wheels. You have 19-inch wheels, and equipped with beautiful Michelin Sport, Pilot Sport, and you can warm them up nicely and hammer it down and have some serious fun. Once you warm them up, you're good to go. You can take it on a track. Now let's talk about the price tag. Is it a bit pricey? Well, look at the Porsche Cayman. You're looking at about $64,000 or so. So it's not actually that bad for what you get. It's a bit hefty, I understand that. But people that are looking at a vehicle like this are looking for something they don't use day to day. It's sort of like their weekend warrior. For summertime specifically, I don't know how many people would want to drive this wintertime. Sound system, this is equipped with the Harman Kardon, one of my favorite out there after Bose. Bose does a great job as well, but this sound is much clearer because you have that surround option as well, which makes you think like you're kind of like in a movie theater. What I love the most about it, because it's so small and it feels so nimble, the steering is so direct. Now the steering radius is not the best, but it does okay. It's not very wide, but it does just fine. Overall, the vehicle feels perfect. When it comes to the actual suspension system, it's okay. The ride quality could be a bit softer. Now let's try into comfort mode and see the difference. So I moved it from sport mode, Sport Plus specifically, into comfort mode, and the vehicle does okay. It's still a bit stiff. As you can see, I'm sort of like bouncing when we go over potholes, but it's not bad. You still get the same technology you get on the 3 Series, including the Pilot Assist, and you can press this button in the middle, which is your intelligent safety. And what happens is that it pretty much, the sensors work together to keep an eye around the car to make sure there are no objects. So if people crossing and you don't see them, the vehicle will stop. I love the most about it how it drives, how it handles. It handles very well on corners. The other important thing too is that, of course, as a rear-wheel drive, you can have some serious fun on it. I would not have liked it in an all-wheel drive system. Of course, some people might want to drive this in winter time, but you're not going to have that much trouble if you put some winter tires, some decent winter tires, you'll be fine. But The idea of this is that this is your summer car, top down, straight line, and have some fun, music on, and enjoy the ride. That's pretty much the idea here. I love how it looks, how aggressive it is in the front and the back side. It is very sporty. While I was reviewing this car, a couple of people approached me and they're like, this is unbelievable the way it looks. The vehicle itself looks really small. It's about 171 inch long. Of that 171 inches, majority of it's actually the front, which is your hood and the bumper. As I mentioned previously, there's a gap between the bumper and the actual engine, and the reason is, of course, because of the engine they're going to use on the other model, which is a 6-cylinder, unlike the one that we have today. The vehicle is equipped with the launch control, so if you want to have some fun, you can put it in your launch control modes and test it out and just go wild. Anyhow, that was it for today. Thanks for watching. Hit the button, subscribe, and like, or you can follow me on Instagram and check out some of the pictures I took of this vehicle. Thanks again.